Hi everybody, today we are going to get more into what to do with decimals, and we are going to start with 4.1, which is multiplying decimals by whole numbers. So I thought it would be helpful to go through the base 10 model so you can see a picture. You won't use pictures a lot when you do this because the numbers will get too complicated, but you need to have examples of why it works. I want to remind you that the times sign can mean of the or groups of. It's helpful to say that in your head as you do decimals because we're working with pieces of numbers. We are no longer working with whole numbers. So if I have one group of 400ths, that is, here's my little dots, my little green dots, that's equal to 0.04. What if I have two groups of 400ths? Well, I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll do another group underneath it, and if I count those, I end up with 0.08. Okay, well, you're so smart, Mrs. McKinley, do 3 times 3 groups of 400ths, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and my third group, 3, 4. And here is where you've got to remember that you can make the groups of 10 because we're working in base 10. So we have 10 of those little guys. And so that is equal to a tenth. Remember, the green ones go and they would make a 10 rod and two little individual guys. So that would eventually be equal to 12 hundredths. And these, I misspoke, it's 400ths. If I have one group of 400ths, it's still 400ths. If I have two groups of 400ths, it's 800ths. If I have three groups of 400ths, it's 12 hundredths. So what I want you to do now is find the product of 7 groups of 6 thousandths. So what I want to show you with this one is you can simply set this up like a normal multiplication problem, 0.006 times 7, and you'll say, okay, I know that this is going to be 42, but then you put your 4, regroup it, and we're going to multiply it as normal. 7 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is, now 7 times 0 is 0, but where do I put my decimal point? Since there are 3 numbers behind the decimal, right here, 3 swooshes, we're also going to go 1, 2, 3, and put our little decimal guy right there. So what I want you to do is attempt to do 3 times 0.005, 4 times 0.024, 1.2 times 7, 2.36 times 6. And I'd like you to try to do it with the arithmetic method like I used right here. Please pause the video and do that. Then I'm going to place on top of each one the solution. So pause me right now. So the solution to each of these is right here. 15 thousandths, 96 thousandths, 8 and 4 tenths, and 14 and 16 hundredths. All right, let's say that we have a bigger number. We have 8.325 times 18. Now you see why you need to know your multiplication facts very well. Well, I did here, 8 times 5 is 40. So you put your 4 up here. 8 times 2 is 16, plus a 4 is 20. I put my 0 there, my 2 up here. 24 plus 2 is 26. And then I put my 2 up here. So 8 times 8 is 64, plus 2 is 66. Then we put our placeholder 0, and we begin 5 times 1 is 5, 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 1 is 3, 8 times 1 is 8. We add all of that up and we have these numbers down here. But how do we place that decimal point? That's the most important part. If I look at this, 8 times 8 is about 64, and I don't think that 149,850 is the correct answer. Well, I see that there are 1, 2, 3 places behind the decimal point, so I'm going down here and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I call them swooshes, so I swooshed them over 3 points, so we still end up with the thousands. It's your choice whether you write this 149 and 85 hundredths or 149 and 850 thousandths. Cows come home 0, optional. The last thing I want you to write down are the properties of multiplication. They're exactly the same as the properties of addition, where the commutative and associative properties. The commutative is the car, where they simply drive around the equation. So 2 times 6.5 is the same as 6.5 times 2. A times B equals B times not 8. What was I thinking? Clearly not. But the associative property is simply, the only thing that changes is the parentheses. So 2 times 6.5 times 4 is the same as 2 times, in the quantity, 6.5 times 4. So I put the algebra here. AB times C equals A times B times C in parentheses. I know that this lesson went a little bit fast. You may want to watch the Khan Academy video before starting your lesson, but this is a great intro if you go back, clear back to our base 10 models and to see what is happening and how to regroup. And then moving on to the practices right here. And your assignment is listed. Good luck to all of you. Please ask questions if you have any.